Hello and welcome back to Satisfactory. In our last episode, we set up a few geothermal generators in an attempt to restore power to the base, which we did. And then I vowed to come out here and do a little bit of work on the oil or fuel generator setup to attempt to get a little bit more stable power to the base. The other option, of course, is to head out to the various other geysers and set up additional geothermal power, and I may do that. There's a couple more spots that I could easily get to, but there are 16 or something geothermal generators all over the map, and some of them are quite far, and I don't know that I want to run power lines across the whole map. A couple things that I changed while I was setting this all up. I hooked up both of these oil pumps. I actually don't think we need them because I think we only need 22.5, and I think they each produce 120, so I could re-disconnect one of these, but I have them both hooked up. I don't think it really matters at this point. It's not that much more power that we're using. Some of the belts had to be stepped up. Everything that's carrying packaged water and packaged in the empty containers, those all had to be stepped up. They had to be doubled in effect. Because of I doubled the whole setup, so there were 2 of each machine. Now there are 4. These are of course all clocked at 75%, and these are all at 100%. The other thing I did was I took out the water pipe that was coming from over there across to here and into the water setup here, and I replaced it with a couple of water extractors down there in the ocean, just out past the sort of breaker point. Where, oops, I just punched my mic, sorry about that. Out past the breakers point there where you can place the water extractors in the slightly deeper water. And then I brought the pipe down here to the bottom level instead of it where it was way up there at the top, because then otherwise I'd had to use a pump to get the water up there just to pump it back down into these, so I just moved it down. That seemed to make more logical sense to me. By the way, I'm also using this review of everything that I did as a way to make sure that I hooked everything up correctly. So we have the packaged water coming in here. Again, these belts are doubled. They were a Mark II, it's now Mark III. And then the heavy oil residue, which I just remember the name, look at that, is coming in here into these, making the packaged fuel, the diluted packaged fuel rather, or more specifically, I should say. And then we have each one of those is direct feeding one of these machines, unpackaging the fuel and making it into fuel in a liquid pipeline, and then kicking out the empty containers that are unwashed, but hey, no judgment, going back into the whole setup once again. And then I doubled the did I do that one correctly? Yes, I did. Okay. These should all be correct. Then I doubled the fuel generators here. These things are a bit loud, so I'm trying to stay in a neutral position here. I doubled them. Each set of refineries, each column or whatever you want to call it, refineries here, supports 4 fuel generators. That's 60 fuel per minute. So we have 4 columns of machines. We have 4 columns of generators. We kind of would max out using a single pipe at 5 columns. So I thought about doing 5 columns, but in the end I said I'll just do 4. So we now have a bit more power. Each one of these produces how much? Loud noise, 115 megawatts. So we have 16 of them. Quick napkin math says that's 2.4 gigawatts. I think, no, 2.25 gigawatts, which is about half of the power that our base has capacity of, which is not technically the true story, because some of this is that coke-based power that we're no longer using that I need to tear down. So we have all of that. I did also discover while I was out here, I noticed that some of these pipes were empty, and I discovered that some of the pumps weren't actually sufficient, which is good to note as well. Off of these water extractors, some of these taller pipes seemed to need a pump, and actually even this one might end up needing a pump in the end. So let me put one down here just to be safe, and then if I don't need it, then I just don't need it, but it's just an extra, what is it, how much power do these things use? Can I see it? Can I see it? There it is. It doesn't say. Logistics, pipeline pump, 4 megawatts. I'm not that worried about 4 megawatts. So even if it's not strictly necessary, I'm going to use it just to make sure that I get enough pressure out of these into there. But the pipe that was showing the problem was this one here that I'm connected to, the second one from the top, and the third one from the top. So I assumed that the top one would also have the similar problem. So I added another pump down there at the end, just to give, because these extractors only have a 10-meter lift, and that's pushing the 10 meters right there. So, because these are each 3, so that's 3, 6, 9. Actually, that's more than pushing 10 meters. I don't know how it was ever working. But even the third one here might end up needing a little bit more of oomph. Well, no, probably not. Because where the water comes out here, 10 meters up from there is just about where that third pipe is. So I think that one's okay. But I think that last one and those two over there both would need a pump to keep the pressure up well. And as you can see, that top one's getting used a lot. That's the one going to, I think, the copper sheets, which is actually where I actually noticed the problem at first. When I was gathering copper sheets to come down here to work on this setup, I noticed that they weren't running because they didn't have any water. The steamed copper sheets, that is. So so I came down here to try and figure out what was going on with that as well, and found that the pipe that they were using, which was the third one from the top, I believe, was completely dry, and it needed to be replaced. So that's what I did out here at the water, and I spent quite a bit of time, probably about an hour or so. That would have been a good heavy episode if I would have shown all of that. Plus, it would have been a lot of hemming and hawing and fiddling with these pumps. These pumps need to get, they need to do some work on the pumps, because they just don't, they're not very, they don't, it tells you the head lift, but I would more rather see, well, either a head lift notification on the extractors and whatnot themselves, and in the refineries, and the oil pumps for that matter too. But I would also like to see some sort of a tail lift, like what the number is below, like coming into, like how high this one is relative to the one below it in the lift. So, but because otherwise you end up fiddling around back and forth trying to get these things to line up properly. So that's the expanded fuel power. And again, I could change this. I could add more to this by adding a second water pipe to the water line, or obviously splitting it too. The fuel is only at right now 4 times 60, which is 240. So actually that would hit a limit as well. And the heavy oil, or the crude oil coming in is fine. And I don't remember what the heavy oil residue is, though. But it might be coming close to its capacity too. So at this point, one more, let's see, 30. No, actually we're at half with that one. So at this point, in order to add another setup, any more than one more column, I would need to add a second pipe both here and to the water down there, in order to get the whole thing to continue working the way that it currently is. So that's that. And then, of course, adding another water extractor and whatnot would need to be needed, because one water extractor, or boosting it with some of the doohickeys, the power shards, which I pulled these two out of those two pumps over there. We put them in ages ago as well. But without boosting those or adding another water extractor, we're kind of stuck here anyway. And then, like I said, only one more column before we had to add a second pipe of both fuel, which actually that pipe could just go that way and into generators on the other side, or even meet the one on each row. Like, it could be a balancing from both sides kind of thing. But more importantly, the water pipe coming in would have to be split and handled better, or differently. Okay, so let's head back up to the base. What I want to start on today, now that we're a third of the way into the episode, is I think on the mall. I want to check, as we come back into the base, on these pipes. I don't know why these pipes don't show the gauge on them. That was weird to me when I noticed that coming back out here. But hopefully that's just a weird sort of bug or whatever. But one of these pipes was completely dry, and it happened to be... Actually, two of these pipes are completely dry. One of them was, excuse me, sorry, the pipe going to the what's it called? The steamed copper sheets. And the other one was one of the two pipes that's feeding, the one pipe that's feeding full into here. This one here, this bottom pipe was completely dry. And so the only pipe that was bringing water in even here to make packaged water was this top one that's only feeding those two down there. So that was a bit broken as well. And so we have everything else I think is okay. And we can go upstairs and we can check on the steamed copper sheets on our way to the mall. But these are the kind of things that are going to come out of any sort of base like this. You can do all the planning you want to do, and in the end, you'll find that some things just aren't working the way that you expected. Yeah, see, that's completely full now. It was completely bone dry before, and these are almost all the way backed up. And I still have almost 400 copper sheets. So what I pilfered off of here was enough, I guess. Holy cow, look at that. Those Mark V belts are screaming fast. Just wait till we get Mark 6 that are like 1,000 and something. That's going to be pretty insane. So the way I want to handle the mall here is going to be a little bit different than... well, it's going to be like I planned, I guess. It's not going to be different than what I planned. But it's going to be a bit of a challenge because each... We had these things stacked up here, and I think we had 29 items coming into the mall. I think that's the number. I have now forgotten it, but I think there's 29 items. Let me see here. 28 items. I know there was 29. There was another one that I added in later, and I hope I can figure out what it was. Oh, there it is. I just messed up my selection. It's 29. Okay, good. There are 29 items coming into the mall. I do recall when we were setting something up that I thought, well, I might want a few of those in the mall as well, but I can't remember what it was. So, it might have been AI limiters, and that was only because of the smart splitter. But for the one AI limiter we need per splitter, I'm not that worried about it. I can always go and pilfer some out of one of the machines, I'm sure, once everything else starts getting backed up. So with 29 items coming into the mall, that is, and if we look at this as four lines coming into the mall, four columns or whatever coming into the mall. Each one of these columns needs to have 7, and then one of them would have an 8th input column here. So this would be the first 4, and then you have 5, 6, 7, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then what I had planned for this, which I think I talked about when I did this basic design here, would be to continue with this setup here, like this. But this one, instead of going only to there, would just go up to there where this one came across. And then so on and so forth, on down the line to the end of the mall, where, and then obviously the top one would do the same, would go up like that, and so on and so forth, on down the mall until we gathered all 29 items in. And I think that's a workable solution. I don't know how much concrete do I have. I have a few. For this, I need to obviously expand the concrete here. And thank you guys for commenting on some of the decor and cleanup stuff that I talked about in the episode from Saturday, I think it was. This is, I think it was Saturday's episode. This is going to be some of the work that I end up doing off camera. I may do a little bit of it on camera, but I think I will probably do the largest percentage of it off camera. I think I'll go out like maybe 4 like this. So what I want to do is kind of think about the items coming into the mall in terms of where they're coming from directionally, as well as what bus they're on. That's probably way more than enough because we only really need 8 rows of boxes, and I'm going to run out of iron plates again. So maybe iron plate should be one of the first ones I do. The problem is iron plates are on bus B, A? No, they're on C. Okay, that's not so bad. So if we look at this, bus D here has fabric, the packaged fuel, and the quick wire coming in from this side. The fabric doesn't come into the mall. The fabric continues on and goes into the places where it's needed. But the other two do come into the mall. And in fact, that's the only reason they're on this bus at all, is for the mall. So in fact, this here, and even these two here, do not need to go any further than that stackable. The rest of the stuff on bus D is coming from that direction. So what I'm thinking of doing is basically just taking, okay, these are the first two items. They can split off of their bus wherever they need to split off to go into this first column. Since they're coming from this direction, they can split off into this first column right here. Let me move my selection down here. And if that is the correct spot, they can split off right there and then come into this first column. Although, in fact, in order to make this a little bit neater, I may end up sort of pulling the items. Well, I got to think about how to do this cleanly, I guess. What else is coming from this direction? Because those should all be the first things that go into this bus, or this mall. We have the other quick wire. That one doesn't count. We have steamed copper sheets, plastic, and rubber. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items coming from this direction. We can also count. This is rubber going into there. Okay. This is wire coming in right here into C. So I think even... Oh, that's creepy. I think wire I could even just run straight into this if I placed it right. So splitting these off is not going to be an easy task at all. But I think the way to do this is to just go kind of one by one and figure out where they need to go and how they need to do it, and then kind of making it all work in the end. I think what I want to do here for the mall is I want to use smart splitters. So let me, in fact, replace on my toolbar here number 4 with the smart splitters, because then I can make the mall be an overflow designation. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put them back on 4. I'm going to put the smart splitters on 5 where the mergers are, because we're not going to need any mergers. But anyway, so if I put the smart splitters here and split off of the belts, I mean, these two doesn't matter, but split off of the belts with a smart splitter, then it only goes into the mall once it's backed up on the bus itself. Excuse me, by using the overflow setting. And I think that's the best option for this type of setup. So what I think I'm going to do for the mall is I'm going to stagger yeah, I think I'm going to stagger the way that these pull off of the bus so they kind of go out. Let me see if I can show an example of what I'm thinking here. They kind of go out in, like, so you have the first one. Well, it's a bad place for the first one. You have the first one that goes, would like for you to not click into that. That goes something like this from wherever it's coming from. And then you have the next one that starts out a little bit. Wherever that out needs to be. It only needs to be one up higher, so really it would be like right here. And then it goes up like this. And then the third one would be out a bit more. So there's going to be kind of like a wall here of splitters, or I could put them over here. That might work even better. I'm kind of thinking through this as I'm talking about it. What if I brought them over at the height that they're at and then brought them down into their splitters? One of the advantages to that is that I can bring them down only here and then bring the other ones across further. The problem is, what if I have conflicting heights for various items that are coming into the mall, especially as we get down into this one where it's going to be a bit more complicated. Let me put out some more of these boxes just to kind of get the alignment. That's not right. You only need to click the cursor there, or the mouse there once, Wally. Okay, so you're going to go here. Actually, I don't want to put that in there yet. Do the regular splitter, because this is only just to ensure that it's separated properly. That's 3, so that would be a 4 there. And then this one, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this would be a 5 here. And then I bring this one down. And I bring this one down. And then that just kind of continues. So how far apart are these? Can I do this without putting all the boxes in? This one is here. This one is here. So they are 1 meter apart. So I can go there. And then there. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then just, I don't know where the 8th, which one I'm going to put the 8th one at yet. I think it's going to just depend on where everything works out to be the best. But then that would be number 8. How did I manage to miss one foundation there? Gotta have it be at least some squaredness to it. So if I bring over, so there's 7 that come into here, 7 that come into here, possibly an 8th in one of these, but that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for sure. They're going to go into this first column. Anything else I can do to make this better looking for myself here? See, that's 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, I'm out of plates already. I think I can actually take these guys out, though. I don't need them, I don't think. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, let me go get some more plates. I want to do this sort of right because I want this design to be, to make some logical sense and be something you guys don't gonna be garbage for. Let's do, no, wait, that's what I wanted. Let's do this. Sort. How am I doing on cable? I'm doing okay on cable. I'm doing okay on rods. Okay, so let's go here. Back over here we go. Oh, I guess I should have, before I took all these out, I should have put this one in too. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I guess I need one here. That would be good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. How did I miss those? Like a ladder. Okay. And then we have this one, which is, I don't remember how high. 6, 7, 8, Oopsie. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Dang it. I have no idea. No idea where I was. I think it's that one. Yep, looks right. There. Yep, I thought so. But what's happening here is two of them are getting assembled in the same place, and that's causing it to be kind of a conflict. Okay, so if the packaged fuel and the quick wire come in on this one, packaged fuel is on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Can I put those into 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 down there? That makes some logical sense. And then if we have these here, which are, I'm scrolling down so I can see that part of my spreadsheet here. These here, which are copper sheets, which are 10, 11, and 12. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So, but some of those I could actually bring down as well, kind of underneath the others. But I also need to get some stuff all the way down here. And how do I do that? I just noticed this is actually starting on 2, which is a problem to drive under. So I think maybe I want to add 1 on top of each of these and bring them all up by 1 level. Which is a pain, but better to do it now than try and do it later. And at least they snap. That makes life a lot easier. That also makes it a little bit easier to get those higher items straight into a splitter. Straight across into a splitter. So if I only get 5 into here out of the 7 that definitely need to come in here, the next one, the wire makes sense to come straight across. For the next stuff that I bring across should be something that is coming out near here. So maybe even something like the all-clad, the cable. Wait, where's the cable come in? Right here? No. It's wire. Oh, here's cable. This is cable. So maybe the copper sheets, the Caterium. So maybe it's just like the items coming up from the oil refinery, which is fuel, plastic, and rubber. Caterium, copper sheets, copper wire, and cable are the ones that go into the first column. Oh, but I wanted to run I did want to run those straight in because they are lined up straight. So then we just add the all-clad in to this first one, and I think that makes the easiest sense. The biggest problem is potentially, nothing A or B, nothing is put on A or B this far down. So that might make the most sense, is just to bring the all-clad in, bring the quick wire. So that would be C7. And then C11, 12. D6 and 7. Oh, and C13 as well. C7, C8. No, sorry, not C13. C7, C8, C10, 11, 12. And then D 6 and 7. So maybe I do want to bring the items from bus D down. We have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Anything, what's above 10? That would be plastic and rubber. Maybe those are the ones I bring down to 3 and 4. So the problem that I'm trying to solve here is I have something on belt C7 and something on belt D7. And obviously I can't have two things coming across on level 7. So I need to bring one of them down. Maybe it's just easy enough to bring D7 down, or C7 down, excuse me. Bring C7 down to level 3. Let's try that. So C7 is the all-clad, so it's coming... Oops, I just jumped before I clicked. It's coming from this way. 1, 2, 3... I'm not lined up right either. Oh boy. My brain is broken. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I can take those back out again. And bring this down to level 3, which I can do by marking it here. Wait, what is that? That's something I didn't delete? Probably. Okay, so the all-clad... In fact, this is the all-clad. I need to actually replace this splitter with a smart splitter. In this situation, at least. So if I come in here... and I go right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Take out... I don't know if I need to take that out or not. Let's try not taking these out and see what happens. 5. There. Problem is I need to get up there to monkey with it. So I want the left to be any undefined and the right to be overflow. Does that have... No. So these need to get replaced. They didn't snap in. Is that the all-clad? Nope, that's not the all-clad belt. Drop back down again. This is the all-clad belt right here. That was a Mark 1. Okay, and then a Mark 1 lift. I should be able to do this. Yep, that's lifting. And then that belt should get some all-clad. Yep. Alrighty. So that should take care of that. And so now I can bring this belt over here. Please, thank you. And then into there. And also take this ladder out. And then I can bring this down to there. And then that can go into there. And that'll be the all-clad for the box. Are you coming? You are coming. Okay, good. And then everything else, I think, can just go across and then come down into its splitter when it needs to. So we want D6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, really. And then that's a Mark 1. And that's a Mark 2. This is 3. This is 4. Why you don't work? Oh no. I didn't take that into account. You can't snap the lifts in when they're that close together. What if I did that instead? That would of course mean moving this one. What if I put the lifts in? I mean, they're all wrong, of course. But what if I put the lifts in like this? Then I could bring the items in on the turn. Well, if I want to do that, why don't I just bring the items in like this? That's even better. I think I'm going to do that. So I need to put these short pieces of belt in here still. They're not actually going to be shorter than that even. And then put the lifts in just straight onto, or straight from here, not even putting the splitters in anywhere. Just put the lifts in right onto the machines, do the right angle, bring it in, and then that'll make it good. Okay, so I'm going to redo this one off camera, and then at the beginning of the next episode, we will pick right back up here and have the just the belts going straight into the lifts without any of this fiddling around. So thank you all for joining me, and I'll see you then. Bye for now.